Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Battle Through the Heavens 2. Rebirth of Emperor Yan Part 33 based on novel. So let's start. The old man on one side also noticed Xiao Yan's eyes, and then the light in a pair of old eyes flickered. He also knew something about what Xiao Yan wanted to see. The old man really deserves to have worked in the cloud-hidden pavilion for many years. At a glance, he can detect what Xiao Yan wants. The man's old and refined language can be used on him, but it's really not too much. Before Xiao Yan came forward, the old man was already one step ahead, let the people in the hall come to the crystal counter, and stared at a jade box with the size of a palm in the counter. The jade box looks like crystal, and it also emits bursts of refreshing cold breath. Obviously, the jade box is by no means ordinary. Through the crystal jade box, you can clearly see that in the jade box, there is a red crystal stone the size of a palm, lying quietly in it. Despite the strong barrier of the jade box, it still makes people feel that an extremely violent fire energy is raging in a little space outside the jade box, which makes the space slightly distorted. It can be imagined how terrible the power of fire contained in this spa is. At the moment, Xiao Yan's eyes also fell on the jade box through the crowd in front of him. To be exact, it was the red crystal stone in the jade box, which was emitting hot and high temperature. This is also the purpose of Xiao Yan's entering the cloud-hidden pavilion this time. Xiao Yan's face was filled with joy, and he couldn't help showing a very satisfied smile at the corners of his mouth. Looking at the eyes in the jade box, there was a certain meaning. Although the old man's face was twilight, his old eyes were extremely sharp. The satisfied smile at the corner of Xiao Yan's mouth was also seen by his income. Immediately, the old man carefully and quickly took out the jade box and put it on the crystal counter in front of him, then looked at Xiao Yan again and said with a smile, "Dare you ask, sir, but would you like to have this burning essence chalcedony in my pavilion?" Xiao Yan smiled again in his heart. The little old man was really wise. He even took the lead and spoke before he was the buyer. "Are you so sure I want to buy your things?" The heart smiled slightly. Xiao Yan also returned to his mind and looked at the old man. A warm smile appeared at the corners of his mouth, and then he nodded gently in the old man's eyes. At this time, Xiao Yan's nodding movement just stopped. In the hall, there was a voice that was not very harmonious. "I want this burning essence chalcedony." Once this sentence came out, everyone in the field looked stunned. Then the crowd separated slowly, and the two figures walked out slowly from the crowd. Everyone in the hall frowned when they saw the two people. Then they looked at Xiao Yan with a little pity, as if they were telling Xiao Yan that he was not easy to provoke. At this time, Xiao Yan was also slightly unhappy when he looked at the two people, but he directly ignored the reminding eyes of others. But it's just a semi-saint and an 8-star saint. This strength can't turn over any big storms in front of Xiao Yan. The old man who presided over the sale was obviously quite familiar with the two people. At present, he looked at them with a slight change, and his eyebrows could not help but wrinkle slightly. "Child Li, this burning essence chalcedony is what the child nodded to buy first. Therefore, please take back your words." But for the old man's persuasion, one of the two men, who looked younger, snorted coldly, then opened his mouth and said with a sneer, "Oh, well, I'm really sorry. I and all of you here didn't see this gentleman nod. I said everyone, didn't I?" With that, he also turned his eyes to the strong fighting saint standing beside him, and asked in his eyes. When those people touched his eyes, their faces changed slightly, and their eyes involuntarily looked at the old man beside him. The old man seemed to indulge the young man in front of him, just as it didn't matter much whether the young man in front of him did it or not. A faint hum came out from his nose, and the old man swept one by one from the people in the hall with indifferent eyes. However, anyone who was stared at by his eyes was filled with a look of fear in his eyes, and then he buried his head without saying a word. At this moment, the look in the eyes of Child Li looking at Xiao Yan was also full of sneer. There was no big deal for him to come to the cloud-hidden pavilion today. The burning essence chalcedony was not in his plan, but the sudden arrival of Xiao Yan robbed him of the limelight in this moment. "You know, Li Kang is the real favorite of heaven in this wild ancient city. When he was young, he stepped into the semi-holy land. Since his debut, he has always been respected and admired by thousands of people. Although he is much worse than the little Lord of Union Pavilion, this is the only one he refuses to accept. But now, the sudden arrival of Xiao Yan looks almost as old as he wants. Even looking at Xiao Yan's thin skin and tender flesh, I can't say that he is a little younger than him. But just like this, Xiao Yan's strength has reached the real realm of fighting saint. Compared with his pseudo-saint, I don't know where he is stronger. This is why he wants to fight with Xiao Yan. Today, Li Kang wants to suppress Xiao Yan's limelight and let him understand who is the protagonist in this wild ancient city. All this should be regarded by the old man in front of the counter, but the strength of the old man next to the young man is really extraordinary. The background of the young man is quite a source in this wild ancient city. At this moment, even he seemed quite helpless to him, so he had to hesitate and say again, "Child Li, I hope you can understand that this is my Union Pavilion. Please abide by the rules of my Union Pavilion." This burning essence chalcedony is what the child nodded to buy first. "I hope you can take back your words." As soon as the old man said this, he directly moved out the rules of Union Pavilion, which made Li Kang's face slightly changed. But in a flash, the old man's words turned into a cold hum in Li Kang's mouth. This time, he didn't pay too much attention to the old man, but directly looked at Xiao Yan, raised a sneer at the corners of his mouth, stared at Xiao Yan and said, "If you don't want anything, get out of this wild ancient city, or what else?" Before Li Kang finished his words, Xiao Yan's indifferent voice suddenly came. At this moment, anyone can hear a trace of anger in Xiao Yan's words. At this time, Xiao Yan put all his thoughts on the burning essence chalcedony. Originally, he wanted to leave the cloud-hidden pavilion directly when he got it. It shouldn't be long before he came down in a series, but Li Kang stubbornly consumed Xiao Yan's time here, which really made Xiao Yan feel a little irritable. When Li Kang heard Xiao Yan's words, he couldn't help but feel angry. The man in front of him was really bold. However, an ordinary fighting saint dared to refute him in front of the 8-star saint behind him. How can he not make the Li family feel a burst of humiliation in his heart? Good. Good. What a rebellious person, your future achievements will not be low. Maybe I can't move you in the future, but it doesn't mean now. Today, when you leave the cloud-hidden pavilion, you will die. At this point, Li Kang's face showed a cruel color, and his words were also vicious. "You are very noisy." At this moment, Xiao Yan is really impatient. He can guarantee that if the guy in front of him is saying more, he will crush him immediately. "Eldest child Li, do you still want to continue making such a fuss in my cloud-hidden pavilion?" When Li Kang wanted to continue to say something to Xiao Yan, the fighting spirit in Xiao Yan also wanted to act. In the hall, another voice broke through the air, which made everyone in the hall look a little frozen. Even Xiao Yan could not help but frown slightly, and the fighting spirit he wanted to mention in his body also returned to calm again. The calm of Xiao Yan's fighting spirit also made the one who had just made a noise a little relieved in his heart. Li Kang was even more angry when he heard the words pointing directly at him, but he didn't dare to make a mistake because of the one who appeared at the moment, so he had to soften his voice and say, "Xian Lao joked. How dare you make a mess in the cloud-hidden pavilion?" The old man called Xian Lao snorted coldly when he heard his speech. He didn't say anything to Li Kang, but directly said, "I have seen all the things today. This burning essence chalcedony was indeed won by this friend first. A Union Pavilion should abide by the rules of the pavilion and sell it to this friend." At this point, anyone could hear it. It was clearly for Xiao Yan. Although Li Kang was unwilling, he could only be angry in his heart. He didn't dare to say more and nodded. However, in his eyes to Xiao Yan, there is endless resentment. Obviously, Xiao Yan has turned into a thorn in his eye and flesh. In his opinion, Xiao Yan will die today. But for these, Xiao Yan at the moment has no time to pay attention. At the moment, he focuses all his attention on the old man. Xiao Yan always felt that the old man didn't necessarily help him just because of his strength. However, the reason for this is still unknown, but I think there should be an answer soon after. This friend, I don't know your name. As soon as Xuan Lao's voice turned, he ignored Li Kang's face of resentment. Instead, he looked at Xiao Yan standing aside with a smile and asked him with a smile. Others can't see Xiao Yan's real strength. How can he not see that in the middle of the three-star half-emperor, he can already be regarded as a very strong man in this wild ancient city? Although Li Kang also has a good background in this wild ancient city, if he really wants to move the young man in front of him, I'm afraid it's better to weigh it. Hearing the old man's words, Xiao Yan also showed a faint smile on his face. He hugged his fist and arched at Xian Lao, and said with a smile, "Under the rock owl." Hearing the speech, Xian Lao also smiled back with a flash in his eyes, and then smiled again. "Little friend of the rock owl, it's my Union Pavilion that failed to do justice for you, which wasted a lot of your time. Then today's burning essence Chalcedony, I should be a friend with my little friend and an apology from my Union Pavilion. I won't accept a penny and give it to my little friend." As soon as Xian Lao said this, all the people in the hall, including Li Kang, changed their faces again. It was clear that they wanted to make friends with the rock owl. Only then could they be so generous. You know, as a superpower, the cloud-hidden pavilion contains all the treasures of heaven and earth that are hard to find outside. However, everything in the cloud-hidden pavilion can be regarded as sky-high price. Therefore, the cloud-hidden pavilion has another well-known name, Tianxi Pavilion. These three simple words are enough to explain the real gold content of the cloud-hidden pavilion. In the eyes of most people, this may be the real reason why Union Pavilion can have such strength. After all, if there is not enough huge resources as the premise, who will be willing to join his cloud hermitage? After hearing what Xian Lao said, Xiao Yan couldn't help looking a little stunned. Even if he knew he was a semi-emperor strong, this alone was not enough for him to give away the burning essence Chalcedony. Xiao Yan didn't believe what Xian Lao said, which was just and unjust. That kind of words was just used to coax ghosts. Xiao Yan doesn't think that there is anything worth Xian Lao doing. After all, even his current strength can't be ranked in the cloud-hidden pavilion. But in this way, what on earth is this Xian Lao giving himself this burning essence Chalcedony for? For a long time, Xiao Yan has no intention to think about it. As far as Xiao Yan is concerned, as long as he can get the burning essence Chalcedony, the purpose of Xian Lao is not so important. If he really wants to do something to himself, Xiao Yan is also confident that he will come back. "Well, thank you, Xian Lao." Xiao Yan arched his hands again, nodded slightly, and smiled at Xian Lao. Xian Lao also smiled again when he heard the speech. The essence in his old eyes flickered. All kinds of thoughts in Xiao Yan's heart were guessed by him. The look in Xiao Yan's eyes also added a little meaning of admiration. What did the little friend of Rock Owl say? Today's thing is that I didn't do a good job in Union Pavilion, which led to some people trying to extort and plunder. I should give an explanation to the little friend of Rock Owl. How can I thank you? Xuan Lao's meaningful words also made Li Kang, who had been standing aside and bowed his head silently, blush unceasingly, and his anger was about to burst. I'm afraid that if Xian Lao was not present at the moment, even if it was Union Pavilion, Li Kang would have to force his hand on Xiao Yan. And those who belong to other powers, after feeling the looming violent killing intention of Li Kang, all changed their faces in an instant. It seemed that for fear of provoking the murderous god again, they bowed down to Xian Lao and left, and the hall on the 4th floor became empty in a short video. Only Li Kang and the 8-star saint behind him remained. Of course, Xiao Yan was not in a hurry to leave. After all, Li Kang was still here. He wanted to see what Li Kang wanted to do. Seeing Xiao Yan's smiling face and pondering expression, Xian Lao was also helpless. His eyes looked at Li Kang with disgust. Li Kang usually looks like a dandy. He does a lot of bullying. It's just that he can't say anything because of his identity. Moreover, Li Kang's grandfather also has some abilities. As long as he is in this wild ancient city, even his cloud-hidden pavilion should give him some face. This also made Li Kang not afraid of anyone. Even in the face of the strong saint, he looked down on him. But today, I happened to meet Xiao Yan, so I can only blame him. The silence lasted for a long time. Xian Lao turned his eyes to Li Kang again. He also knew that if Xiao Yan didn't leave first today, I'm afraid Li Kang would have to stay here all the time. However, looking at Xiao Yan's meaning on this aspect, it is obvious that he has an indifferent attitude towards it. Xian Lao is also helpless. As soon as his eyes turn, he immediately straightens his face and speaks to Li Kang again. Child Li, your behavior just now scared away all the guests of our Union Pavilion. According to the rules of our Union Pavilion, although you haven't done anything, it has become a fact. Therefore, please leave our Union Pavilion. You can't step into our Union Pavilion for half a month. Once the above-board words came out, Li Kang's face turned into a gloomy one. In the silent hall at the moment, he could even hear his gnashing of teeth, which was enough to reflect Li Kang's anger at the moment. Child Li, is it difficult? Are you going to violate the rules of my cloud-hidden pavilion? Xian Lao was also old at the moment, and a cold and fierce color appeared on his face. A little fighting spirit was used between his words, which made the hall tremble. With the addition of fighting spirit, the voice of Xuan Lao's words also directly passed through the cloud-hidden pavilion and passed into the ears of those people in the city. Suddenly, everyone in the city was boiling again. In this wild ancient city, who can be called Child Li would not know that it was Li Kang. At the moment, Li Kang dared to violate the rules of Union Pavilion. I'm afraid his grandfather came, which would be of no help. Hey, this rolling calf is really bold. Even the rules of Union Pavilion dare to violate. Now look at the elder who speaks, it should be Xian Lao. Ha ha, you deserve it. Keep your voice down. If the Li family hears you, be careful of your head. When the words of Xian Lao came out, even if someone made a sneer, of course, there were some people who were careful to remind them. After all, Li Kang's reputation is well known in this wild ancient city. If you don't provoke him, naturally no one will die at leisure. At the moment, in the cloud-hidden pavilion, Li Kang naturally has no time to pay attention to what those outside people say about him. At the moment, he has only endless anger in his heart, but even so, after some struggle in his heart, he still reluctantly replied yes, and then he quickly disappeared into the cloud-hidden pavilion with the old man behind him. Brother Yang Xiao, these two people are all gone now. I have also given corresponding punishment. Your unhappiness should be gone. Xiao Yan also smiled when he heard the speech. He didn't know why. The mysterious old man should be afraid that he would really kill them in a rage in the cloud-hidden pavilion. I don't care about trifles, but if they still want to commit crimes with me, I can't recognize people casually. Looking at the cruelty on Xiao Yan's face, Xian Lao also looked a little moved, smiled bravely, and said again, ha ha, that's natural. Today's business is just because I'm a businessman in Union Pavilion. If something happens, it's bad for my reputation. However, when I'm outside Union Pavilion, he can only see his own fortune, ha ha. However, it is worth mentioning that Brother Yang Xiao, Li Kang's grandfather, is not weak. He is a 6-star-and-half emperor. I hope Brother Yang Xiao can pay attention. Xiao Yan smelled the speech and a flash of light flashed through his face. No wonder Li Kang dared to be so bold. His grandfather's strength has reached the level of 6-star-and-half emperor. However, even so, as far as Xiao Yan is concerned, it's just like that. He has killed 2 8-star-and-a-half emperors, only 1 6-star-and-a-half emperor. What waves can be aroused is just a matter of the reincarnation of Buddha's anger. But Xiao Yan couldn't say anything about Xuan Lao's kind hint. After thanking him, Xiao Yan smiled again. As long as he doesn't annoy me, I don't bother to pay attention to him. As soon as Xiao Yan said this, the look on Xuan Lao's face was also a little stunned. The 6-star-and-half emperor was in front, but he was able to say such words. I really don't know where he came from such courage. He smiled and nodded. Xian Lao stopped talking, and Xiao Yan didn't want to explain so much. If Li Kang's grandfather really wanted to do it to him, Xian Lao would understand at that time. They talked a few more words, but Xian Lao was full of silence. With his shrewdness, he still felt a burst of helplessness in the face of Xiao Yan. He didn't know what kind of clever cross-examination he had, but he couldn't ask Xiao Yan any information. After a long time, Xiao Yan finally left the cloud-hidden pavilion under the strange eyes of Xian Lao. Xian Lao also disappeared slowly, as if he had never appeared. When Xiao Yan left Union Pavilion, in the 6th floor of Union Pavilion, a young man in green robes looked at Xiao Yan's figure with a smile and slowly disappeared into the crowd. Because of the boundary established by the strong man, Xiao Yan never found out about the man. The cloud-hidden pavilion is on the 6th floor. Xuan Lao's body slowly emerged from somewhere in the hall, and looked at the young man standing in front of the window with an exclamatory smile. After a long time, Xian Lao waited for the man to take back his eyes. Then he smiled and sighed. "Young lord, I'm old, but I haven't seen you pay so much attention to a person for a long time." The man smiled softly and didn't answer. Just in his eyes, there was a little light flashing. "How?" The clear and unique words came slowly from his mouth. Xian Lao also understood what he meant. Without too much hesitation, Xian Lao sighed softly and said with a smile, "This man is extraordinary. Even if he is old, he should be very careful when talking with him. Moreover, he also tested the overall strength of my Cloud Hermit Pavilion in a roundabout way. If it weren't for the old man, I would be smart. I can't say what he really wants to ask." The man smiled again, but it seemed as if he had expected it. He smiled and asked again, "Is he looking for something?" Hearing this, Xian Lao couldn't help picking up his eyebrows. The little lord seemed to pay too much attention to the rock owl. "That's not true, but the old man gave him the burning essence chalcedony he wanted according to your arrangement." The man nodded gently and didn't speak, but Xian Lao suddenly gave a chuckle at the corners of his mouth and said with a smile, "When the old man talked to him, I reminded him that Li Gan's strength was 6-star and half emperor, but his answer was a little strange." Without waiting for the man to ask, old Xian continued. "He said that if Li dared not touch him, he wouldn't bother to pay attention to it, but it meant something big." Xuan Lao's words were not so simple. The man before he met was obviously very concerned about Xiao Yan. He was afraid that he read the wrong person. But when he said this, the man heard an inexplicable laugh. Then the man turned to Xian Lao and said with a smile, "Xian Lao, you said he was entrusted. If you saw how he killed a cracked cloud wolf with the strength of 8.5 stars on that day, I'm afraid you wouldn't have such an idea." As soon as he said this, several other semi-imperial strong men in the hall, including Xian Lao, all changed their faces. They looked at the man with unbelievable looks. How terrible it must be to kill 8.5 emperors in one blow. He is a small 3-star semi-emperor. Can he really do it? However, since these words came from the young population in front of you, you present will naturally have no doubt. Therefore, in your hearts at the moment, there are only 4 words to summarize Xiao Yang's strength positioning: playing a pig and eating a tiger. The figure that has been standing in front of the window, the leader of the little pavilion among all the population in the wild ancient city, and the real behind-the-scenes leader of the Union Pavilion, is Luo Jin, who was separated from Xiao Yang a few months ago. In an inn, Xiao Yang sat cross-legged on his bed. The burning formula skill in his body slowly operated. Between heaven and earth, the pure and extreme energy of heaven and earth also appeared from the space around Xiao Yang's body and turned into thin strands of energy. From the pores of Xiao Yang's body, it entered the meridians in Xiao Yang's body. With the continuous operation of the skill, after several refinements, finally, he joined the cyclone in Xiao Yang's body along the path of Kung Fu. After this situation lasted for 2 hours, the cyclone in Xiao Yang gradually stopped running, and the vast energy of heaven and earth lingering around Xiao Yang also dispersed slowly. Xiao Yang's eyelids, still sitting on the bed, trembled slightly and slowly opened his eyes. At the moment he opened his eyes, sharp and unparalleled light suddenly shot out of Xiao Yang's eyes and instantly tore the void space in front of him. Then he didn't enter it and disappeared. The corners of his mouth smiled and didn't care about it. As soon as Xiao Yang's palm turned over, a delicate jade box appeared in Xiao Yang's palm out of thin air. Ignoring the extremely cold temperature in the eyes of ordinary people, Xiao Yang opened the jade box in his palm. In the jade box, the red crystal with the size of an adult's palm was finally exposed to the air at this moment. At the moment of being properly sealed, the crystal seems to vent its resentment accumulated by being sealed for a long time. Before the jade box was completely opened, a terrible flame hotter than the magma torrent burst out from the crystal and swept into the guest room where Xiao Yan was. For the terrible flame that even the strong saint should be careful to face, Xiao Yan smiled again at the corners of his mouth and whispered, "It's really angry, but, oh, I don't want to lose money. How can you destroy here at will? Come back." With a slight reprimand, the terrible flame that had not really swept into the whole guest room was quickly recovered as if it had heard God's instructions. Although the flame was terrible, at the moment, under the light rebuke, nothing in the guest room was damaged, that is, even the crystal surface was extremely cold. At this moment, the ice-cold gas that had been completely suppressed also surged up again. Just in a moment, the red crystal stone had turned into an ice-like ice wrapped in a fire. Take out the ice that has become a little bigger in this moment with one hand, and the cold ice also disappears rapidly, and only the red crystal is left in Xiao Yang's palm. Yangjing Chalcedony, ha, it's really unexpected that this kind of best fire attribute Yangjing should meet here. It's really willing to meet the cloud-hidden pavilion. The essence of the essence of the essence is jade essence, which contains a very violent and terrible fire attribute energy. It is a very good one among many fire properties. Xiao Yan was sure that if he had spent money to buy it at that time, he might have taken out all the 280,000 spirit coins he now had, and he might not be able to buy this burning essence Chalcedony. It can be seen from this that how precious this burning essence Chalcedony is. Everything that can be put in the cloud-hidden pavilion is really good. This is what Xiao Yan needs to cultivate the 9-turn incarnation formula. Without hesitation, Xiao Yan put away the jade box. Xiao Yan thought a little. The terrible soul power swept out of the center of his eyebrows in an instant. Then, the 9 incarnations appeared in front of Xiao Yan. With a wave of the big sleeve, the burning essence Chalcedony in the palm of the hand suddenly burst out and directly entered one of the 9 incarnations. When the mind was moved, a gorgeous flame wrapped the avatar in an instant, while the other 8 avatars were taken back in an instant. After all, a piece of fire attribute Yangjing can only depict the mark of skill and method once, and cannot support these 9 avatars at the same time. With this in mind, Xiao Yan also reacted instantly. In this way, he will live a life without money in the future. With a sigh in his heart, Xiao Yan shook his head again and threw the thoughts in his head out of the body. With a boost of spirit, the power of terrible soul swept out again, turned into an invisible blade over Xiao Yan's head and flew away towards the burning essence Chalcedony. Xiong! A crisp sound like the collision of gold and iron suddenly spread from the depths of Xiao Yan's soul, which made Xiao Yan frown together at the moment. Unexpectedly, the process of engraving skill is so difficult. Even with my imperial soul, it is difficult to shake it. It seems that it is very difficult to really refine this incarnation. A thought flashed in his heart, and Xiao Yan no longer kept his hand. The endless soul power in his mind poured out and merged into the soul blade. At this moment, under the perfusion of Xiao Yan's huge soul power, the originally invisible blade has completely turned into essence at this moment, which is like a real existence. Drink! The heart suddenly issued a fierce drink. Xiao Yan's heart read a move, which was to control the sharp blade of the soul, and collided with the burning essence Chalcedony. Xiong! Another crisp sound, an invisible ripple like a water wave, spread from the place where the attack was made. However, this time, different from the previous one, a light white impression was left on the burning essence Chalcedony. There are few chapters in this chapter, which were issued late. I was just considering whether to delete the content, but Pascal dropped it. Would it be better to write it all? This video will end here.